when we finally get to the place of singularity where a robotic arm has same functionality, same feeling, everything,
Give me the
but
robot
better, you'll chop it off for a robot arm.
Oh, replace it?
And it works better than the human arm, of course.
But you have to cut it off though.
Automatically take the arm.
Oh wow,
I
you're
want cyborg
wild.
all the way, the eyes, everything. Like getting rid of my eyes.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 23 of the FBE Podcast. This is our chance to hang out with you guys each week for much longer than most of our content, which results in much fewer people watching it. I don't know if I'm breaking it to you guys for the first time. We have a couple of special guests here this week. Labib, say hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Labib.
And Chelsea.
Hey, it's Chelsea.
And we also have Rafi.
What up? It's Rafi. I guess I have to say my name along with it.
So, I mean, Raf's used to the podcast views, but you guys don't quite know that, this is a show for the 5%, which is what we've affectionately deemed the percent of the audience that might actually care to hang out and listen to an hour-long behind-the-scenes production podcast. It takes a special level of person to be psyched and interested, because when you're looking through your YouTube subscriptions and you see a video with it over an hour, you're like, all right, I need to be dedicated to click that button. So we're so thankful that the 5% turns out for the show. Hopefully you guys get a kick out of this one. We can't wait to hang out more and learn more about Chelsea and Labib and less about Rafi, hopefully.
We don't need it, they know enough, right? They know enough.
We're going to get through a ton of questions from you guys and then a bunch of questions you've sent in just about FBE or the industry. But before all that, Raf, we got some company news this week to share.
We do have company news. And
what do we want to start with?
Did we write it down?
Yeah, TBD.
Okay, thank you. Just prime me.
I saw that. I saw the retweet.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? Interesting.
Yeah. So TBD, it's a cable network. That is only in a certain areas. But that's what's really exciting is that the company is actively been working towards the idea of look, not just from a budget standpoint of not making enough revenue off of YouTube, and everybody understands that's a problem, but also in the sense of being able to get more people to watch the content that we've all been making, and YouTube's an amazing place, but that doesn't mean that the content can't live in other places too. So TBD has a channel that they basically package up content that is on places like YouTube and makes half-hour shows out of them. So different content that FBE makes is being put up into 30-minute pieces and is going to be coming out every week on their channel.
That's really
actually
That's really cool.
I think it premiered on Monday of this week, and you can tbd.com. I don't know about regional restrictions, because that's the biggest problem with streaming platforms is if you live in Australia or another country, I don't know, depending on your
you
VPN
guys,
or filters.
You've seen all this content.
Yeah.
It's the
You've
stuff
seen it
from
already.
YouTube.
Okay.
It's not like anything new that you haven't seen.
This is this is a U.S. Linear cable network. That is basically a 24/7 live stream.
So it's very cool that they're, having the content on there. It feels that it's worthy of it.
Smart,
and so we're happy to kind of utilize the content in those ways, and it helps the company because the videos need to make more money.
And to emphasize, this is not somewhere we're going to.
No.
This is just an additional place. So you can still get everything is still right there on YouTube. It's just that this allows us to kind of syndicate it or put it in other
more
places
platforms
too.
and more exposure.
I know. That even things like Facebook has already been helping of continue to bring in new people to even the 5%. I know.
You want to talk about YouTube demonetization, Raf?
Yeah, a little bit.
Stuff to say about that too.
A little. Have you been going through it too?
Not my videos, thankfully, but one of my videos that had to do with a Muslim American thought on Trump. God. And it was a couple months old, and out of nowhere, just scrolling on my video manager, and I saw demonetized. I was like, interesting, but okay. I don't know why. Yeah,
I think it's so generally, because I'm not going to do the full deep dive here about this, but we had 3 videos in a row that were demonetized right when uploaded, similar things that people are dealing with. The general idea here is that YouTube is a great place. And it's impossible for them to try to figure out how they're going to have a system where if they're not careful and they don't try to set up all these things that for a long time they got away with not worrying enough about what gets ads on them.
Exactly, yeah.
And so you do then present a scenario where you already saw from the adpocalypse and people leaving. If they keep messing that up, it's going to become not just the few people on YouTube that kind of go, okay, I make content that probably shouldn't be monetized, you know, kind of thing. Let me make a family-friendly channel, etc. You're going to then have it be that everybody stops being able to have advertisers because YouTube's built a system that they can't trust. And brands, when they finally are really diving in and realizing that this is the future, they're putting more money towards it now than television and different things like that. They have to get more specific about it. So during this time period, I think we're going to see a lot of mistakes by YouTube of content being demonetized and various things that we've been putting out. We're seeing that firsthand. But I hope that YouTube will continue to try to figure out as best they can to make it so that things that shouldn't be demonetized won't be demonetized. But at least with us, we've been able to hit those buttons, and then we do end up getting the monetization back after a little bit.
Especially what's interesting is, like, I've seen this in the comments and forums, but if a channel has X amount of subscribers, like, you need a manual process. And even something like FBE or React, like, we're pushing more than 10 million subscribers. Like, it's almost...
Oh, the conversation that Casey and, like, Phil were having.
It's almost weird that, like, you know, just like how YouTube Space has their own, like, levels of, like, if you're a gold member, you have these perks, whatever. If you're over 10 million or something, I think...
Can they have somebody actually hired to look at things faster?
Like, YouTube and Google, you have the assets to do that.
To speak to that, that's been something that we have brought up to YouTube a lot over the years, and it wasn't just because of this. Now I think that rightfully so, it is coming up and being like, shouldn't there be a different tier to whatever degree? If these people are trusted, shouldn't there be something different? And this actually was something that now we're seeing across Facebook and different things where I remember early on with React being, you know, even it was 7 years ago that Benny and I, from talking with kids and teens, we were going, God, these platforms need more like eyeballs on it from the staff. Like, what? And bullying was the main reason we were getting so involved from covering bullying on the show when it was still kind of looked like 7 years ago where it was like, just be quiet and deal with it. And then that's totally changed in schools around the country and around the world fully because they started really realizing what cyberbullying was. But one of the things we always said was, how is Facebook not hiring or YouTube not hiring like 10,000 people? They're profitable enough. Why don't they have 10,000 humans going through everything? Because when we asked all the teens about it, the teens were like, yeah, I've never seen any repercussions. Again, this is 6-7 years ago. I've never seen any repercussions to anybody ever on this platform. Like, how are there not people physically handling these things? And I think that Facebook now has hired, thanks to fake news and different things and terrorism and different like posts of accounts. They hired like 4,000 people, 8,000 people to physically sift through all of the people that hit those flag buttons.
Yeah, there's like these like new features even on Instagram. I feel like I think there was something with like that had to do with depression. If someone's been posting some really like interesting like or weird things like black and white all the time, or even their stories are kind of like weird and people flag it, they will like contact you or like swipe up and saying like, hey, are you doing okay and stuff like that. Like, so it's crazy seeing like the interface
it's alerting your mood.
It's a very interesting, like, how do you like monitor and moderate at scale? And YouTube has the most ridiculous scale you can think of when you think of the hundreds and hundreds of hours of programming, like a minute uploaded to the platform, where yes, they probably have the revenue and assets, but when you compare that against scale, like, it's like, dear God, how can you do it? Anyway, we got to move on. We didn't get to a single question yet.
Are we skipping
meet and greet and the 100th episode?
Okay, quick meet and greet. We've talked about a lot. I think everybody knows. Are you guys going?
I'm going. No. She's going to Fall Out Boy instead.
You're going to Fall Out Boy?
Yeah.
Understandable.
It's at the same time. I've had these tickets since March.
Well, like, they're going to have an opening act, Chelsea. Right. Like, they're not going to go on until like 11 or 12. You know, that's
my plan. I was going to try to actually like Uber over there, so I do have tickets. So I'm going to try to stop for an hour.
Okay. There you go.
But it's just like, I don't want to give any promises.
You're not going. All right, you're staying at the meet and greet.
I'm going to meet and greet.
For the 99% of the podcast audience that does not live in Los Angeles and can't attend the meet and greet or the Fallout Boy concert,
we're sorry. But so quickly, that's gonna be really exciting, and the hope is that it's just gonna be, go really well. We'll end up making a video for a lot of the people that can't come to be able to see what it was like, and then the real hope is that plan for next year, that hopefully if it does well, we'll do something much.
I like convention centers.
Yeah, like not nearly as big, but hopefully we'll have something a little bigger that more people can attend, and then we're having the 100th episode. This will actually be the first question that we'll we'll roll into. This is going to be the 100th episode of People vs. Food coming out.
Didn't it come out by the time?
It would have come out. Yeah, it would have already come out.
All right, moving on to questions from the viewers.
Yeah.
So obviously, some of these people kind of know some of your hobbies and interests, clearly. But we're going to start with Red Valkyrie 19 over on Snapchat, but then Fedelikeslego on Instagram kind of asked a similar question. Chelsea, favorite Walking Dead character, and what do you think about the new season?
Oh my gosh, I can't ask my favorite character. That's hard. It was Glenn, rest in peace. But now it's probably Aaron or Carol all the way. And I love the new season. I don't know, there's always haters. Like, this is
For
so
everything.
bad, but I don't know. I think it's really good. I love the All Out War. I'm a fan of the comics too. So it's just like seeing how it plays out differently is cool.
Are you up to date on the comics?
Or
is the comics still ahead of the show?
The comics are way ahead of the show. I'm not that caught up. I am after where they are currently in the show. So I have read a couple after that, but they're like really catching up on me. So I need to catch up fast.
Gotcha.
I gave up on it. Like, I loved watching it. And then I remember seeing a report, an article that came out that was like, we're planning 35 seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yes.
And for me, I was just like, what did this become? Naruto? And that's what happened.
Live action zombie Naruto.
Like, we gotta know that this is going to stop at some point. Like,
Please don't stop.
I understand. Like, I know how you feel when it's your absolute favorite show versus like, man. Oh, nice.
How many seasons have you guys had so far?
This is our 8th season.
Jeez.
Oh, that was so cute. The idea of you guys and our, like, it's a sports team or something. That was great. Loved it.
Chelsea identified, just the hour. Like, it's our 8th season.
Yes.
No, because Chelsea's Twitter is like a live stream of The Walking Dead, so I think it's hers.
For those listening, just the audio version, Chelsea is wearing a gold Lucille bat necklace around her neck, which is an odd memento. But considering your favorite character is Glenn, so you just wear his death stick around your neck.
In memoriam.
Memoriam.
But that's a strange way of remembering your favorite character with the instrument that killed them. Do you watch? It's okay if you don't, because I fell off The Walking Dead after Glenn met his untimely demise. But did you ever watch?
I haven't seen a single episode.
Oh, Labib, he's not even season 1.
Don't even.
He's a busy man.
I just go to Universal Hornets every year. I'm like, damn, this is dope. I should watch the show eventually.
Every time you're like, we're gonna do it this year. No.
Is there a Walking Dead style show that you do binge or that you do get?
The thing that you're obsessed with. That
like
you have a show you're obsessed
that I watch
with.
like crazy.
Yeah.
Multiple seasons of maybe.
I would say Top Gear when it was still live on BBC. That was my ultimate favorite show to watch. But then Jeremy Clarkson had to say some stuff and they got pulled off.
Well, say some
that
stuff
was your show.
Say some stuff and punch some people, allegedly, I believe.
He's a wild British man.
Okay, Mushi.ijaz over on Snapchat. When is Labib getting back in the ring?
Damn, they really know about this stuff. Okay, probably we're looking at December 16th. Or January 13th, depending on which card I get a matchup on. But yeah.
How does that work?
Kind of the matchmakers will look at like fights coming up and like opponents for you that like match up well for you. And then we have to see like what's good for us as a team. Because a couple of days before that, like we have 2 guys making their pro debut. So it's like, do we want everything like to be congested up? You know, it's hard to practice like that. Like different people, different focuses. So then from there, we kind of see what we want to do.
It was definitely a very interesting thing of having Labib come into our lives for Benny and I, and like not having somebody that is in this world and just being like, oh God, like you are about to go into a fight and then we're going to see you after that fight. And so we're all like pumped and hoping how you're going to do. We're waiting to see the footage show up. And I remember like definitely that first one that was like, and it was just like, oh, that was such a disappointment for you. But even coming back, it's like, and now you are beat up and like here you are and you're back to react with us.
And you guys would see me. What would be funny was like the shifts and like I would come back like, oh, you're cutting weight, huh? And like I look like super skinny. And sometimes I would come back like, oh, you look healthy right now, so you're no fights coming up and stuff. Yeah.
Right. I know. And like generally like that's actually something I would want to jump to a thought of like you were you and Tori were that first moment of like fans coming onto the show.
Yeah, me and her were the first 2 to come on because of Facebook.
Right.
And then from there, it's a really weird, I'm not going to lie, where it stemmed into and what it is now. It's like, wow. It happened because of literally one click of a button.
Yeah. And, but like generally, like what was your feeling back then? Or do you remember those, like that post? And do you remember like feeling like, oh, I'm one of the first people, God, it's good 5 or 6 years.
It's going to be 5 in December. And I made the initial inquiry back in like November of 2012. I remember it was like around Thanksgiving time.
Yeah.
And then like, I was on Facebook literally one day, like after school, like during high school, just like, I think before practice or something. And then I watched FBE already. And then a little thing came up saying, oh, we're taking auditions for the first time from fans to be a regular. And I was like, I scrolled up, down, kind of went past it, read a different post. And I said, you know what? Like I watched this, like that was also the time where I lost a lot of weight and I was like super confident with stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to try this. Why not? I clicked it. And then from there, just kind of went.
Any memories from your first shoot?
I remember every single detail to like the smallest thing, like remembering like the questionnaires that were sent to me, and then like the pictures that I sent to the old receptionist back then, and then pulling up to the location and it being next to a 7-Eleven and it being super sketchy. And my mom was like, what are you doing?
and you guys were okay. You guys didn't have to come to our apartment.
Exactly. Like
that wasn't sketchy at all.
We had a brick and mortar office.
7-Eleven is like high class compared to showing up to our apartment.
I thought it was pretty dope. My mom's biggest thing.
You're like, they're by a 7-Eleven. This is so cool.
My mom's biggest thing was like, I was like, we're Pakistani. That's my people right there. That was good. My mom's biggest thing was like, what, are you sure you know what you're doing? Because it's like, you found
this on Facebook? What is this?
Because like I've never done like acting stuff for whatever in front of the camera. She's like, I think the morning of, I was like, do you think I should go and do? Because I was really, really, really nervous. She's like, no, just go for it. And then I remember parking. You have to bring like all the paperwork and stuff because like all that crap stuff.
Yeah, early on.
And then I remember going in, and the first person I see walk down is Leah, and like everyone knows who that is, and I'm like.
And all of a sudden it hits
I'm like a 16-year-old very nervous boy. Very, very. I'm like, oh shit, this is a real like I know who this is. And like I try to stay cool and look down on my paperwork like, oh yeah, dude, we're doing big things in LA. I'm just looking at my paper real quick.
Right. I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here.
Like they didn't even say hi, I just walked past her because I'm trying to act like, oh yeah, I can do this too. Right. And then right when I walk by, she turns back around and he's like, hey, I'm Leah. And I'm like, I know who you are, but it's that cool. Yeah. And like then I go up in the elevator and then I think Rachel was there. I said hi. She didn't say hi back. I was so nervous.
That's great.
I
love it.
It was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah. And Chelsea, just quickly, like, what was your like experience of first coming on the show? Because I remember that you came on, then you were gone for a bit.
Yeah.
And then you were fully back.
Yeah, I started the first time I came was when you guys had the little apartment. And I was just like super nervous walking up. And the same thing, when I got in there, Leah was sitting in there. And I was
Leah
like,
just
oh my
always,
God.
to this day, guys, I know she's not in the episodes, but Leah just hangs out in the lobby, which would be hilarious.
It was just like, I was starstruck, but I was really nervous as well. Like I bought a shirt just for that shoot. And it was so strange because I thought you guys like had different rooms. But no, it was like the kids react wall and the teens react wall painted.
Very
like,
tight.
Yeah, it was literally like kids react this side and teens react that side. And then, I don't know, I just remember being like so nervous. And you guys never called me back and I was just like, did they hate me?
It took us a while to get Chelsea back on the show. But Benny reminded me that you actually still though showed up and came to the Harlem Shake shoot. And at least from what Benny remembered, like that's maybe when you ended up coming back on. I can't remember. But yeah, it was a little bit of time. That was still like, even to this day, it's really tough if there's such a cast and large and trying to figure out how people get back on. You guys were like moving
right then too. And then I think Benny said like you guys lost my information for a while.
Okay, Benny knows casting stuff way better. Like being not here, I'm like, Ben, do you remember some of this casting stuff? Because I don't remember any of it because he would handle all of it. But he would remember way better than me. His memory is insane.
That's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I just remember being really nervous, but
So did Chelsea come from like actual casting notices or a casting website?
Yeah, I auditioned for Kids React actually when I was 13. And then I didn't hear anything. And then I remember when I was 14, I got a thing saying, oh, we're starting this new show, Teens React. Do you want to be on?
Nice.
And then I think I was on like the 3rd episode. My Little Ponies was like the 3rd or 4th episode aired.
Oh, that's quite the episode to have started out on. That was an interesting episode to like, as a foray into like stumbling into
internet
a
culture.
Whole different culture. That it's only happened a few times. That's happened with them, and happened with K-pop.
Oh, K-pop for sure.
Where like, you know, being a part of that story, like of giving that opinion of a new whole culture that's starting, and having people that are giving like their hard, honest opinions about them, the kids with K-pop and the teens with My Little Pony. And it was just like, we were synonymous all of a sudden with that community. It's good or bad.
So the 5%, I think, are pretty intimately familiar with this timeline, but maybe for folks hearing this for the first time, the very early casting for these series did come from actual casting websites in LA, even though none of this is scripted, even though to this day people think everything you guys say is scripted.
I saw
Even
that.
right now,
I read
right
that.
now,
Like,
guys.
magazines
Well,
like,
I don't know the podcast. I don't think they think the podcast is scripted because we don't have the
God, no.
time to script the podcast.
This is
This
not
is too
scripted.
good.
No, it's too good.
It's too
right.
good. It's a
Can't
puzzle.
write this. Can't
Obviously.
write this.
But yeah, initially when you guys were looking for people, that was the only way to kind of get submissions, was by posting on casting websites.
And yet we still
for an
look for people that
unscripted
didn't
project.
have huge backgrounds in acting yet.
Yes.
We wanted them
and
to
still
be
trying
real.
to avoid
Yeah,
the
right.
career actors and actresses, because again, it's too fake and too stagey when people are treating it that way. So yeah, initially casting, and then it migrated to like some Facebook posts.
Yeah, they keep
which
it
is
real.
Where,
They keep it real.
Which is where Labib showed up.
Because
And
I had
now-
no idea what I was doing.
And now we've like for the last couple of years, we've fully transitioned over to Instagram. Our Instagram/FBE page. Every couple of months, that's where we'll post. Again,
John is trying his best to continue to say this because no matter what,
it's
no
the
matter
number
what,
one question,
the question
across
will
the
never
board.
end. How? Yeah.
Every couple months we
Yeah.
post there. Unfortunately, you do have to like live in the LA area or Southern California to audition. And also at the moment, we tend to get hundreds and thousands of applications when that
Teens
comes in.
and college
So,
kids gets thousands
I
of
can
people in
imagine.
the LA area.
yeah. Elders. Hey,
wild.
we always
If
want
you're
people
an
to submit
elder-
their grandparents.
If you're an elder watching at any point, like we will bring you on the show.
Slide in those DMs.
Don't-
Yeah.
Don't even like fill out a form, elders. We'll take you
Just
on.
like you.
So this came in from buliida on Snapchat. Is it difficult to balance React and maybe YouTube or your own YouTube with school or whatever you may be doing?
School, work, your own YouTube, and here.
Yeah.
And like your
And
profession,
your,
that
amateur MMA
yeah.
career.
I mean, there's like 24 hours in the day. Like this, I think number one thing is really what I've learned like the past year or so is really subtracting what I don't need in my life and like what's kind of like just there iffy and just kind of messing around, and then time management and knowing, hey, like I have to do this, like I have to get this done because like now I'm 21, I'm getting older, like, you know, you have to take things more seriously. Before I was like, oh, I'll procrastinate, I'll get it done, whatever. But then you don't really get what you want out of it in the right way, and then stuff doesn't pan out right. So I think the number one thing is really just time management. Then you can go to school. When you're done with class, you know, okay, I'm gonna go home, film this, practice, come back, edit it, and kind of like just have a timeline. Like Google Calendar's your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chelsea?
I don't know. I say I balance it pretty like good, at least like coming here, doing school and work and stuff. It's like where my own YouTube is where things fall, because I do put that last. Like I just upload when I have time. I'm not like a set YouTuber, like that's my thing. So I guess it's not that difficult, but I mean, I do only post like maybe like twice a month on there. So I guess it could be a little better.
You have to prioritize. Like
Yeah.
there's only so many waking hours, and you need to like figure out what
I
your
push
priorities
that.
are.
I push that baby.
Well, Rafi likes to take the extent of like
I'm with Rafi on that one.
It's been just a good 10
could-
years of pushing that as
like
far
what,
as you
like
can
20
take it.
waking hours, would you say?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But
So-
this is like what you wanted to do really and push this is
Right.
what I mean. This like, that's what you wanted to go towards. So you prioritize that,
Once
right?
like if you figure it out as early as possible, but it's still like, I mean, I never know exactly the advice to give other than if you truly, truly, truly want to hope to be successful in the career that you're working towards, you know, you're never going to regret like at all, but you are going to regret other things. You're going to regret that you didn't have really a life outside of it whatsoever. You're going to sacrifice your health, your family, your relationships, your sleep, like everything. I've literally given up eating because that makes me tired. Like, so, it's so many things that make you get so honed in on how to be successful, but then you can be able to say, like, you can be successful that way. That is going to be the way that you set yourself up for hopeful success as much as possible.
Where you
but
put yourself in the best position. And even then it's not guaranteed, but at least you're giving yourself the best chance.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Who needs Mamba mentality when you have Rafi mentality?
Right?
Oh man.
Rafi's on it.
It's Rafi hours late at night.
God. Awful.
I remember you talking to me about that like a long time ago, about how you just like already don't get any sleep or anything, and then I feel like it's just gotten worse now.
It's worse now. I don't know how that happens. Like that literally you could bring up stuff where I'm just like, oh, I can't stay on top of some things anymore because it literally, I mean, there is prioritization inside of it, but there's still just 100 and something things.
Exactly. There's
so
sometimes
it's just what
like
it is.
I think the best thing you can literally do is like, it sounds cliche, but just do the best you can. That's it. Thanks,
Labib. You heard it,
you got
guys.
This,
Labib said I could do the best I can.
He also had good advice earlier when he was just like, look at your life and cut out the things that you don't need. Like,
so
try and like,
you don't
I need Labib
watch,
around.
You don't need to watch that Forts. Like, not talking about that show, but you don't need to watch like that game or whatever, or like check out this post. Like, man, it's gonna be there. There's a new thing tomorrow. Do your own thing, and then people can watch your stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maro over on Snapchat. Do you guys feel? Did you guys start to feel differently when people started recognizing you from the show? Did anything change?
Like, and be honest, that's an interesting thing that happens in life. It is a thing where like nobody recognizes you, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm somebody that people might recognize.
One thing did change for me. It's still like really weird, and I'm like, I never expect it because I just figure no one knows me. But I do now when I go out in public, I try to put on like, look a little nicer, because I used to go out just looking like whatever, maybe in sweatpants. So now I will try to look at least halfway decent, put a hat on or something, because I know like there may be a chance, and it's happened to me before where I've looking completely like just horrible.
You're beautiful no matter what, Chelsea.
I just had like 2 hours sleep. I looked really bad, and someone's like, can I have a picture with you? And then they posted it on Instagram and tagged me. So now I do try to look a little nicer when I go out. But that's about it. Yeah,
it's a little different. Like the first time it happened was the time like the first episode released, and I was like in my English class, and some kid was like, oh, I saw you on the internet this last week, and I was like,
they're like doing a double take.
Yeah, like, they asked you like, oh, were you on that? Yeah, and like stuff like that. But kind of like what Chelsea...
Was it a different Labib?
No, yeah, exactly. That's what they always say, like, hey man, there's not that many Labibs on there, so I thought
it's gotta be.
And then what Chelsea was saying, like in public and stuff, it happens. It's interesting. It's cool, definitely. Like I'm grateful for it, because like it's cool that anyone even wants like to come up to me and say hi or what's up, because I'm just like Labib, like with the mic. Cool. Like, the most interesting one has probably been at music festivals, actually. Like if you're like in a mosh pit or like jumping and dancing or singing or whatever, and I don't know where the person taps on you like, hey, you're on that thing, right? And I'm like, you're Labib. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And then like get a picture and stuff. I'm like hyped, but like it's funny because like you have to bring down the energy levels, because like you're like just wilding out, and then I don't know where it's like, oh, this person watches the YouTube and stuff.
There is, I get right. What you're both speaking to is there is an awareness that happens.
Oh, for sure. You have to know
that you have to be, thinking about, representing yourself, representing the company,
exactly.
And
you're an ambassador of sorts. Yeah,
there's just like an idea there that you take for granted sometimes, and so sometimes even I try to think, I'm so happy still to this day that I don't care about being on camera, and I don't really want to have all that fame, because imagine what celebrities that everybody recognizes what their lives are like, and it's always like something that I think people don't really care about and end up getting mad at different celebrities for. But it's just, if you're already thinking about these sorts of things from the limited amount that it happens, oh my god, it's out of control. Your whole life is overwhelmed by it.
It's definitely, I think, like I know people who love it too. It's weird, and like some people are super against it. So like it's interesting actually to see celebrities handle it different ways. Like I feel like Chrissy Teigen, she's like super cool with it. She's like, I think John Legend's wife, and then she's like super open with it and like always having fun with it. And then you have like guys like Bieber, who are like, can you just like please just leave me alone at this point? It's cool. It's cool to see.
M.rickmon over on Instagram. What has been your favorite and least favorite gaming episode?
So, Labib, I actually have I have a question for you, but just like I'm wondering what you're going to say, but I have a question for you. Start with Chelsea. What was your favorite or least favorite?
Favorite. That's hard. I'm going to say...
least favorite.
The Walking Dead Telltale Games.
You guys didn't bring me in for that. I was like hardcore mad, but what's it called?
No, you guys didn't?
No, they didn't.
It's her show.
That's her
It was
show.
Teens React too.
That's
and I
like,
was
imagine if they did like Teens React to MMA and like, oh.
I was like, okay. I was like, whatever.
Even Elders McGregor.
The team does the best they can, all right? Listen.
I think my favorite was actually like Attack on Titans because I was really good at it. And I've never been good at a video game, and I understood it. I like mastered it, so that's probably my favorites because it was really fun.
It doesn't ever happen that way.
No, it doesn't.
And you usually feel horrible afterwards.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ugh, I looked horrible at that.
Exactly, because I think even though it's super fun and I love playing it, I think Street Fighter was probably one of my. No, sorry, not Street Fighter. It's the football one.
Madden.
Oh,
That's it.
The discrepancy.
I don't know why I said Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter.
Football is kind of like a street fight.
Yeah, dude, I was like, that's lit.
With pads and helmets
I
and
really
footballs.
don't like football, and that shoot. Me and Michaela were so bad at it. We had to play till the time ran out. We ended up playing for like 2 hours.
I think there were multiple rounds of people doing that where it's just like nobody can score.
And it was the first
But that's what's fun.
Yeah.
I love like whatever the difference. I like even though we have a big hardcore gamer audience that like wants to see people that can play well. We have some of those people, but I think it's like this is the type of thing that you don't get to see of different people just still having fun,
Keeping it real. That's it.
you know, hanging out with your friends, and like it's not like we all don't do that. It's not like we're that great at games. Sometimes
Not
we just have
everyone's
fun.
Yeah, and the comments
Pull
sometimes
your mic
it's
in
like
front of your face, Rafi. You were fully talking.
Oh, gotcha.
sometimes the
Least
comment,
favorite for
least
you.
favorite for me, dude. I can like definitely the most recent one. Emily wants to play too.
That was so fun.
This game was trash.
So my
Wait, are you saying just because it scared you too much?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get
It wasn't
so
well made.
a question for you, the claps.
Okay.
The claps.
Everyone says this. Okay, so the clapping. Okay, so I don't know why. Maybe it's
Jump scares for Labib. He claps it out.
I don't know why I clap.
Yeah.
So I think
The fear comes out through his hands.
yeah. So I think it's because I don't know. For me, when I'm like in a situation where something's coming at me, I think usually like in sparring or something, like you like counter back, punch or whatever.
So you need to hit something.
So I'm trying to I'm in a position where I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm just like stuck. I'm like the
You
prey
can't
right
actually
there.
hit
So I
something.
can't do anything. So I'm just like, I gotta like get my energy out of it somehow, like dissipate
I
it.
understand the
It's
idea
fight
that
or
you're
flight energy.
hitting. You something is almost
so
like
I
you're
can't
hitting.
like do anything. So I feel like it's weird. I've noticed that too. I just start clapping like really fast and like, but it's in front of my face.
Maybe a
yeah.
mouse like scared him as a child, and he learned that clapping could scare like the small rodent away or something.
Yes.
And then,
Have you ever Googled it? Is it something that other people do?
Like human psychology. Like
Yeah.
Why
Maybe
do
it's
I
actually a
clap when
thing.
I'm scared?
And then all of a sudden you're gonna realize that there's a whole forum for it of people being like, me too.
There's a lot of deep rooted issues and shit.
You end up
clappers.
uncovering things that you're just like that are really
Through a
dark.
game.
Yeah.
I know. But yeah, I think that's why, because I clap. I told my mom about it. It's like, she said, why do you do this?
there's a great supercut probably of Labib
Labib
and horror
claps.
games.
Dude, one of them ended up on the front page of Reddit. The Oculus.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, there's just random memes, like, when you're playing Tetris and it like adds up all the way and it's me freaking out again, and just Pocahontas when she gets caught, like, is that like, there's different ones everywhere.
I love it. John, which is the one that every year shows up on?
Catherine's Elders the GTA gaming.
Right in the
Good
beginning
Catherine.
with the guy with the characters
The
saying
wife or girlfriend.
right.
Every
It's
2
like,
to
it's
3
his
months,
wife.
every 2 to 3 months on Reddit, the Elders React Gaming.
Just that clip just always shows up on the front page.
What was it again?
It's she's wondering if it's his girlfriend or his wife. She gets angry
She's
at
playing Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, playing Grand Theft Auto, but it's all text based. And says something, I forget what it is, and then she's like, "It's his wife," like because she can tell based off of like the annoyance that he has with the
funny.
character, and it just always shows up. Yeah, and John always writes me being like, "It's back."
And the conversation in the comments is always really interesting because half the people are like finding it for the first time, and the other half are so annoyed at how many times it's been
back
reposted.
again. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Shalazar11 over on Instagram. What do you guys want to be when you grow up? Do you guys have that ideal professional career in mind?
For me, for sure, I would love to be anywhere in the film industry. That's one of them because I just love film so much, either if it's like acting or behind the camera. But my other thing I am working for is behavior forensics, which is something I just love, which is like behavior analysis, just like the mind or doing forensics. Clap? Yeah.
Oh, like, you can do some behavioral analysis on jump scares.
Maybe I'll make that my
next vlog, baby. Yeah, there you go. Collab.
You can collab.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why do I clap so much? For me, I kind of want to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm really enjoying it. Like I want to for like my actual professional career would be transitioning from I'm currently an amateur in MMA, but going professional in 2018, and then like the whole YouTube side. I'm a marketing major in school, so I look at a lot of it as like, you know, YouTube and social media, everything's like becoming the main tool for marketing and brands and how they're doing their stuff. So like right now I'm like enjoying working with like I'll get like emails from different companies like, oh, can you create this for us, or like this type of advertisement or film that might not even upload onto YouTube, but it's like me and my friends are within like film and do
it's
stuff
interesting
like that.
To see how what their plans are, how they're trying to think through these things.
And then we'll create stuff for a company, and like business will do business that way. So kind of entrepreneurship in a way, and like, but for the digital world. And like at the end of the day, I think the coolest thing I would want to do, or like what I want to do, is like having my own creative agency and like working with companies and, all right, like, yo, like Microsoft hit us up. We got to create a commercial for them. And then I have people or friends that I can hit up like that work for like some studio or a colorist, and like, hey, we're going to do this.
Hey, you're probably going to need like, and film directors and producers over there to the right. Dude, you collab professionally.
Keep the family close. We start off reacting.
There's a large alumni base to pull from, Labib.
That will be one of the most fascinating parts of everybody fully growing up. That like, sure, we have the adults and everything, but it's going to be so interesting of the teens that started on the show of like fully having full careers and what are they?
It's really weird because I started with you at 16 when I had literally no idea what I was doing with anything in my life, and like now I look at it like, oh, I'm kind of like going on a certain path. Like I know what I want to do with this. This is going to stemming into something, so it's like cool to see, and everyone else like doing the same thing, and like everyone you see like branching off and doing their own thing. It's interesting.
And Chelsea, we haven't mentioned that obviously like because of your background and because that was an extra angle and aspect to how you've been involved, is because you are so great at acting that you've ended up in various shows like Inappropriate Parents, and I'm trying to think of what else. And Sing It. Yeah. Oh God, that Sing It day was great.
I was thankful for that because like doing React, like that's cool because it's being me, but like one of my favorite things is not being me. So getting the opportunity to work with you guys on that side too, because that's how I found you guys, was for your sketches. Like that's how I found your channel, was on Last Moments of Relationships, because I saw it on Tosh.0.
Oh, really?
So,
that's how you found out?
Yeah, that's how I found out about you guys, and that's what led me to auditioning for Kids React, actually.
I just saw Kids React like the first compilation, and I was like, this show is so cool. Like, maybe I'll get to be. I literally said I was watching it. I remember in the old apartment me and my family lived in, like watching it. Oh, maybe I'll get to do this one day.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Actually,
I was like watching kids like Royal and like those like the OGs, and I was like, oh, this is cool. But whatever, like I'm gonna click.
That's so very very different types of like the type of content even, just like of being introduced to Kids React. Even though even some of the early episodes of Kids React had some like the kids were saying some crazy things that we were like, yeah, we're gonna let them say whatever they want. Like Jake, who's back now. Jake just talking about bombings. You know, he was just being like, you know, let's bomb all the third world countries. And that was episode 1 of Kids React. And we were like, all right.
That's what got me hooked. I was like, yo, this is lit.
This is real.
Yeah, exactly.
Nickelodeon doesn't put this on their air. Like, kids are talking real. And then you're seeing the first episode of Last Moments.
Yeah, I saw it too. My mom made me change
out. Spitting in each other's mouths
and
stuff.
Not just any people, it's Benny.
Yeah, yes, it is Betty.
Yeah, I had myself in autoplay.
And Lisa Schwartz.
And my mom made me exit that video out, by the way. Not even kidding, because it's thumbnail.
Oh, yeah.
Not allowed in my household as a kid.
God.
Rebecca Oliver over on Instagram. What is it like to be a young person in America in 2017? This is coming from a girl in the UK. So Rebecca Oliver.
Which I love this question because in the sense of like, this is what we also do, you know, like, and even when we first talked to you guys, when you showed up, it was like, you're representing your generation here.
Serious business
so like, make sure that you give your opinions and you give them right, because you're only so many people are going to be on these shows. So people are interested of like, what is life like?
How do you feel being a young person alive right now?
Honestly, it's pretty good. It's not that bad. Like I feel like there's a lot of negative stuff going on in the media, politics, whatever, that like kind of casts a bad like shadow over everything. Mm-hmm. But in general, I think everything's pretty great. Like, you know, the sun rises, the sun sets. We got food, we got water, and most of us are doing pretty good. Friends and family. I mean, there's like obviously like Trump as a president, like crazy things with that, and then people sometimes say the economy is not doing so great, but I think there's always stuff happening in the world, and maybe that's not the best, but
like no matter what,
exactly. Yeah. And then people will say like, oh, this stuff wasn't going on 100 years ago, but I think it was. It's just that we just have so many media outlets now. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to avoid it. What was going on back then is going on now too. So it's your perception. Like me, I think everything's a blast. To be honest, being a young person, it's pretty cool.
I'll answer as a 36-year-old, and then I'm curious about Chelsea's thing. I think 2017 is one of the worst years we've ever had. I'm just answering personally.
As you get older, it's funny of how you.
I think this is
as you get older. Even though I think that we're gonna have perspective, because the way that you talk is like I don't
know. I feel like people have always said that, and then I'm gonna be older and look back at 2017 and be like, what the shit was that year? What was that whole period of time across? I feel like we're in unprecedented, for pun intended, groundbreaking period of time. No, we're 100% in a groundbreaking period of time.
Because I've taken major L's this year. I've taken major L's last year. I took major W's this year. I feel like every year it's like.
No, I'm not saying that you might not be in a good.
Not me.
The world is as horrible as it's ever. We have sunk to a new low. John is saying.
I feel like it's been worse.
Right.
I feel like it's been like a lot worse.
Of course, like during like the war, during like the major wars and world wars, like there have been terrible times. I'm just saying that this is a unique hit right now.
So the iPhone X came out, so we're doing good.
iPhone 10.
I thought you were gonna say so. We're just at a new low.
Quick thumbs up poll from Steven and Jay. Thumbs up 2017, thumbs up or thumbs down 2017? What's the vote? Let's see. Both double
guys,
thumbs down.
As you get older, let me tell you.
I'm gonna send you some Tony Robbins after this.
I wanted to make sure Chelsea didn't feel like she had to agree, but like.
So I was like, let me bring it down.
I mean, I agree with Labib in the sense that I feel like if you're on Twitter and you're not in America, that it makes such a depressing shadow. If you're on like Twitter, you feel like everything's depressive, everything's bad. But honestly, I'm still like, I feel like way overprivileged to be living in America. I have friends who've like gone to serve in Africa and the Philippines, and I work with the Salvation Army, and like seeing their stuff when we go to our meetings of what they deal with there, we are way privileged in the way we live. No matter what. No
matter how bad it is.
Yeah, no matter how bad it is, like we go to home every night.
I'm not disagreeing, by the way. Yeah. I think I'm enormously privileged. And that this is the worst year.
What you're talking about, though, I agree with you that
the worst shit ever.
We have never.
I don't know ever.
The worst, best shit ever.
I would say in the last like 30 years, I would say this is pretty low.
we've been going up, and there's always steps down, but definitely like where we're at with like Trump and finding out all these things, like. It's just like we're breaking it. Like I feel like we're gonna go down before we go up again, and then that always happens. Even in a good movie,
even when it's so bad, John. Yeah, exactly. Like you broke up.
You found out
that they cheated on you, and you don't think that anything's gonna work out.
Will we ever bounce back, Rafi? The question was specifically about how does it feel living in America in 2017.
Right this moment.
My answer is pretty god awful. if you're looking for my opinion,
cringy.
If you're asking for Labib, it's okay. Like we've been through this shit before. We're gonna survive. If you're Chelsea, look, we got a lot of blessings right now, but this may be a step back for us at the moment. Ralph, what's your gut reaction? We already got Jay and Steven's opinion.
Gut is that like it's always down until the robots are here, because there's no reason for us
Saudi
to be
Arabia
here.
Just, not even. That.
Yeah.
Oh, that was wild.
That was creepy.
Not creepy. Very positive. Very positive.
Going back to the robots.
I'm just quickly saying that until we have robots, it's all downhill, because this is not even the future. The robots are the future. So this is all worthless as it is. And I don't know why I'm working 20 hours a day, but the robots are going to show up no matter what.
Someone help my man.
No, I don't know if you've been listening to our podcast, but Rafi has been on this tangent for years.
Rafi, even when he went to Japan on the robot restaurant,
so
he loved
great.
it.
McDonald's is on your train.
I will say quickly on this tangent that the robot restaurant in Japan is the least robotic thing I've ever seen in my life. So do not go there with the hope of seeing robots.
Yeah, that is not the future I'm imagining, but it was still enjoyable to see my robot brethren, who I love if you're listening.
Are you a robot?
They all hate you.
I see what Ravi's trying. He's trying to get on the good side. I'm
going to help rule with them, Labib.
I like it.
You're like a different Will Smith. And
They're going to bring me back from the dead to be like this guy.
I'm desperately hoping that we merge
planting
somehow.
a seed early. I feel you. Smart man.
I'm hoping that when the singularity happens, somehow we merge into it.
Oh, now we're talking about singularity theory?
Yes.
Yeah, this is getting deep.
And we're going to be a part of it. I just don't want them to come in and just humans are gone.
Okay, quick question.
I want us to be a part of that.
This is a debate about the whole robotics and humans thing.
Ooh.
Okay, here we go.
So a lot of the times, so
boy.
when you get injured or whatever, you have to fix things with technology, whatever, surgery. When we finally get to the place of singularity where a robotic arm has same functionality, same feeling, everything,
Give me the
but
robot
better,
arm.
you'll chop it off for a robot arm.
Oh, replace it?
Yeah, fully replace it.
When they say,
No, I
and
think I'll
it
get the
works better,
exoskeleton.
and it works better than the human arm, of course.
But you have to cut it off though.
So instead of it being like, oh, we put that on you because we feel bad for you and you need to put on some arm. No, it's like, no, we've evolved. The arm is now better than the human arm. Automatically take the arm.
Oh, wow. You're
cyborg
wild.
all the way. The eyes, everything. Like getting rid of my eyes.
There's a great Futurama episode where Hermes gets slowly replaced by robot
in a
parts.
moment, all of it.
So you would give up your... Sorry.
My only thing that I have worried about is more of like I don't know if they'll be able to know for sure that won't 30 years from now actually destroy my body with a type of virus that my blood can't handle or something short circuit. I don't want to be the guinea pig, Labib.
Oh, we're gonna
so
wait.
somebody else is going to take that arm first for 30 years, then I'll take it. It's just like how you wait for the update with the iPhone. You don't take that first update, you take the second update.
There's a lot of bugs in that robot.
I'm waiting until like 11.1.2 that I'm gonna go in.
I'm really curious if you're listening to this right now on SoundCloud or YouTube, leave a comment below. Would you take the robot arm? In my mind, I'll take like the sleeve. Maybe it's like an exoskeleton sleeve that gives you more strength.
We need more commitment, John.
I'm not chopping off my arm to replace it.
The robots are listening, John, and they are not happy with you right now.
Robots, I'm cool with whatever you want to do, but I'm
Chelsea.
No, fam. I'm gonna be the one hiding like the Hunger Games. I'm gonna be in the forest hunting my food.
Robots, you do you, I do me.
Leave a comment below. Would you take the robot arm? Yes or no? Okay.
Chelsea can survive a long time doing that type of thing too. It's smart.
Chelsea is gonna survive longer than all of us. She's been watching Walking Dead for years.
Yeah, I'm ready for the apocalypse.
She knows where all the hidden shampoo and conditioner supplies are and the saline solution that show magically has, and how gasoline doesn't deteriorate over time, but it doesn't matter. Tear in my car crash heart, or Tear, I guess it is, on Instagram. Favorite bands or musical artists at the moment?
So I have a top 3. That's Fall Out Boy, Cage the Elephants, and the Shins, and Green Day. Sorry, those 4.
I love that you're very So as in new stuff not new stuff.
No, I'm not into anything new right now.
Still going.
But Shins has been around for a while.
No. As in, she's talking about all like older bands, like not like this is the latest, coolest, punk music out there. No,
all my favorite bands are from the early 2000s. I feel like that was a good time for music, especially with like Queen and stuff. I don't know. I can't. If I listen to something
Queen
now,
of the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Oh, not Queen. There's a much more popular Queen band.
Wait, really?
Queen.
Wait, Queen, like Freddie Mercury. Queen.
Oh no, I thought you were using Queen as shorthand for Queens of the Stone Age, then not realizing that Freddie Mercury Queen exists.
Oh, Queens of the Stone Age.
It's pretty badass.
I apologize for making that
badass.
No, I'm on a total opposite spectrum right now. For me right now, my favorite artist is G-Eazy. And actually he just dropped a new song a couple of days ago called The Plan. And I've been watching him for a long time, like since I think 9th or 10th grade. And that's when he kind of like first was blowing up and playing small shows at UCSB and stuff. And now he's like one of the biggest artists. So it's cool seeing him like talking about what he was going to do in his songs on those songs, and not talking about, all right, it's happening and shit. So it's pretty cool. So him,
especially when it is so like they're sharing their life so much through their music, so you get to literally watch that whole progression through their whole career.
Like it's like a story, and I'm like, oh dude, I remember this in 10th grade when he talked about this, and that he's doing it. It's pretty wild. And then other than that, I've been to a couple.
You like a lot of electronic music too.
I like a lot of electronic music.
You're always dialed in when the episode goes that way. I'm like, Labib's got some EDM insight he's about to drop here.
Right now, it's kind of transforming because a lot of the EDM artists, what's happening is they've been like, they're being used to collaborate more and like being the main beat makers, producers. And I was more into it when it was like Swedish House Mafia or Headhunter or Showtek and like specifically there's electronic beats and stuff like that. And they're still pretty big.
Making pop music.
Now it's like, now featuring like Justin Bieber, which is, it's really, like when it first came out, everyone was like, what's going on and shit. But like, now it's like the main thing. Yeah. Like the beats and everything for it.
I'm sure that there's stuff that's happening that is still fully dialed into that whole side of it that isn't letting themselves go over to that side. And we'll end up getting lots of documentaries about it soon enough, just like you continue to see. It's amazing that the idea through all the SVOD platforms and all that, all the artists and all the stories that now you're getting because of all these documentaries about all these people that have done so many different things inside of the music industry. I always then think about, man, what are going to be like, give another 10 years and all of the EDM documentaries or all of the hip hop documentaries and different things. It's all these stories about how it revolutionized everything and nobody believed in it.
Exactly. You know? Big fan of The Weeknd too, though. If you guys like him, The Weeknd, I love him. Like that's favorite R&B artist.
Quick shout out to the 5% because I think last week or in a recent episode when we were asking this question, I was talking about some of the K-pop that I was listening to and the new Twice song and all that other stuff. And then some of the people left comments reminding me that EXID, which was another K-pop girl group that I really liked from an early React episode, because all of my knowledge of K-pop came from our content, and so it like really informs me. And I've generated a lot of fandom for BTS especially, but some of these other groups, they reminded me that EXID had new songs like that had just dropped, and so I was like, oh my god, like now I get to go and watch like in this other group too. So I'm still hopelessly addicted to a lot of K-pop, but a lot of EDM music too. And
so there's a Slack channel. There's a Slack channel here.
I started the internal Slack channel here so that we could all share EDM music. It's called FBE EDM.
Actually, I said, so you're a pretty big K-pop fan, right?
I mean, I don't. You're about to tell me that. If you're about to ask me to name the members of BTS, I can try. No. But I may not get all 7.
There was a period in middle school I had a huge K-pop phase too. Actually, like G-Dragon and Big Bang and Taeyong, all those people. Like,
it's just good. It's really good. And it is. The thing about EXID, which I really like, is it reminds me a lot, like the first song that we played, which was like Every Night or something in our React episode, really reminded me of like 90s Janet Jackson. And this new song that they just dropped, which is I think like DDD, sounds so much like Missy Elliott to me. Like listen to it, like I just like imagine like Missy Elliott and like her like big, puppy suit, like
right, their music videos are insane.
They are
insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there we go. Rafi, any questions that you wanted to lead in at this, where I scribbled in Rafi questions?
We've done so many of the things inside of what we just talked about. Do I have anything else for you guys? I don't have anything embarrassing to do to you. We're not like showing you a form or you already did your audition. I don't think
we talked about my elves back then.
Yeah. No, not yet.
I thought you guys deleted my episode actually when I first started because I didn't know how editing worked back then. So it was a Saturday I shot at or something.
Okay.
And then the next Sunday I was like, yo, my episode.
Why am I not in there?
Yeah, I didn't even see it, right? And then it didn't come out for, now everything comes out ASAP, right?
Oh, right.
So back then, it didn't come out for a month. And I was like, oh, they just deleted the episode. And I didn't hear
I was in it, so they were just like, we can't put this out. This guy was horrible. Get rid of everybody.
Like, I didn't even get an email saying, like, nice having you, whatever. So it was like, just like,
no follow-up. I was like, just show up and you disappear.
I thought I got ghosted by the FBE, and it was bad. I was like, we tried our best, and then on Facebook when you guys used to preview what episodes coming out the next day,
and then you're like,
I was like, let's go, baby, we made it.
Wow, yeah, we used to have the like tomorrow ...
Dude, I used
to
look on Saturday night, like, what's coming out tomorrow?
I would do that
John,
too.
you're hearing this from an engagement standpoint, like the idea of on Facebook when we used to do that they remembered being on Facebook wondering
like, what's coming out tomorrow.
And it was tomorrow with like 20 dots.
If it wasn't my episode, and if it was like the other episode I wasn't in, I was like, oh man, tomorrow's gonna be boring. Because when you're in an episode, like people are like, oh, you get like people talking to you, and tweeting and shit. Like, But then, like, if you're not in it, it's like, oh, it's just another Sunday.
My first video came out too. I was like watching it just to see if they cut me out, to be honest. I was like, I'm probably not even
that's a very Hollywood kind of thing of just like, you just never know. But that was fully a thing, and it's still a thing to this day where no matter who comes in, and if they give us their time, they're going to be in the episode. And I think only like one time was it somebody that just literally wouldn't say a word in response, and they still were in the episode. Well, like in the watching sequence, right? They can still be watching, and I think they said yeah in the episode.
I said only one thing that really stayed in. It was Dumb Ways to Die, and I think only you and Rafi laughed at it. The audience didn't understand it. It had to do with, and Benny. I mean, you and Benny. It had to do with the character having band-aids on where his kidneys would have been. Yeah. And I said, oh, that's the Russian mafia at it again. And you guys started cracking up like, oh, that's funny, dark humor. And everyone else in the comments like, what was he talking about? Like,
inside jokes.
Cool. All right, so we'll get into some questions that have come in about FBE or the industry. Again, we want questions from you guys. The 5% are the co-producers on this podcast. Use the hashtag FBE Podcast either in your YouTube comment, because that's where I search for them, or on Twitter, or when we post who our special guests are. It doesn't necessarily just have to be about the guest. It can be about the company. It can be questions about YouTube or just life in general. We're really here to answer as many questions as we can. So WILT over on YouTube, question about the meet and greet live event. Is there anything we need to do to fill out in advance to audition, or is there paperwork at the event? The only thing I can say about that is it's going to be first come, first serve. So
it's only a certain amount of people are going to be able to. It takes too much time, and it's only a 3-hour event. I think there's going to be a couple hundred
like people there, and we won't have time to do it for everyone. So if the audition element is what you're really excited about, and you do have a ticket and you're coming, just show up early because it's first come, first serve. And then Hedwig on YouTube. So you guys clearly read the YouTube comments. I'm wondering, how do you do it? Because they can be very toxic and depressing sometimes. So our whole company is kind of built off of YouTube comments. Rafi, do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I think we all go through this. I mean, you guys obviously do, from getting feedback about your opinions and such, and you guys stay strong, which is, of holding strong to your opinions. But I think that that's really just... What I would wish is that we had a community that wasn't so broad sometimes, because it is tough. Like, there's going to be so many different opinions and people that want to be angry and not listen to one another. But that's not the situation that we're in. And so I think that you end up focusing much more on the positive, and the company works hard to find the criticism that is that is good for us to understand as producers. And there's so much feedback that we get from the team that they gather from understanding things that are not going well in an episode for whatever reason. It's not just about it not maybe getting views, etc. It's also us really learning from what people are saying in the comments. Some of it is very depressing and negative, and to whatever degree, there are filters on YouTube that help to get rid of some of those things. But even our team looks at everything, no matter where it shows up.
Very quick shout out to Sid, Chris, Leah, and Jordan, who are members of our social media team. I was updating some documentation recently, and I saw some of their documentation and training stuff that explains kind of the review, the dark side of YouTube comments. And it's just 1 or 2 lines that's mental preparation for dealing with the really
daily affirmations. Keep yourself
YouTube
positive.
Comments, you're about to and go into this thing.
But that's the thing. We've always been Benny and I are, at least when it comes to us, and then we try to spill it out to everybody that's been on the shows and now staff that are in Staff React or anything that you're dealing with. It's so much of it is troll behavior, and the other side is almost just like in person, that you have people that bully you or anything. It's more about them than it's about you. And we're trying to be a brand and understand that we should be open and happy about expressing ourselves, no matter what it is, and we should all be be having conversations with one another, not just being mean and horrible to each other, which is partly of why we have such a political, divisive nature of our country, because we aren't just having conversations with one another. So the YouTube comments in its own right is a nice, interesting way of a peek into what I would hope we get better at as society, but the robots can help with that.
Obviously.
They won't even care about any of it.
Robots don't leave mean comments to each other.
They're automated to be nice, so we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, we all kind of take it for a grain of salt. But it's what I do want to say is that the criticism, when it's actually true,
is very helpful.
It's great.
That's one of my favorite things. It's so
fantastic.
Is like being able to see thinking a certain way, and then maybe that not being like the smartest way of approaching it and stuff, or like a different perspective, and like looking over at it and like, oh, okay, that makes more sense, and kind of not obviously like re-opinionating my thing, because that's just like, listen to whatever you take and then be a new person, but like, oh, okay, I see what you mean, and trying to like build off of that.
That's the beauty of what it all is, because you start thinking in different ways, and that's not like, oh no, you're being brainwashed, because all of a sudden it's like, no, you should be exposed to different opinions and different thoughts.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's good and bad with it. The good is that you're basically living with your focus group, right? Mm-hmm. You're living with your audience, and they're constantly helping you shape and evolve and change your content, or make you question things about the content you're creating. And that's the beautiful side.
A lot of critical thinking within these YouTube videos.
And there's a thing of even like how that's very much what I hope the future is going to be for FBE, and I think that the future is for the entire media industry, is that it is going to be that you have an audience that is very large and very focused, and helping you to create the best content you can, the best television network you can, the best film that you can. And I think that FBE will continue to work its way into building communities like that. And 5% will be these first people that maybe soon enough will then, years from now, it'll be like, oh my God, I was a part of the beginning of the 5% that became larger and larger and larger, because we do all have a community that we all want to build together, that has this feeling almost maybe possibly separated from YouTube, because YouTube's going to be great. It's never going to go away. It's going to have these millions of people watching all the time that are from all over the place, that have all types of opinions. And there's going to be people that like are more the 5% and everything, that want to be even more dialed in and more engaged inside of this community. And the belief in what we all talk about together of like, it should be about opinions and it's so great. It's like, that's not going to be everybody. People don't want that.
Yeah, they just want to watch the video and just, all right, next, or whatever. Yeah.
Or leave a nice, horrible hate comment and then next.
I think this is a quick answer for you, Raf. Aurora Menendez over on YouTube. Have you guys ever made a video that you've just decided not to upload and hasn't made the cut?
No, like we don't really ever have those situations. Like there's probably maybe like one or two really random things that wouldn't come into my head now.
Too many people spend too much time for us not to.
The general idea,
something.
It's almost like that same thing of like, if somebody gave us their time, like with that, even was a talent came in for even a half hour to like shoot something with us, they're going to be in an episode. Obviously some things like, okay, you're making a feature, you're making a TV show, different things might happen in those scenarios. But we've always had that mentality, even with the other companies that we've worked for before we built out this studio, was like, if we all put in that time and we put in that money and all these people came together to want to make something, we owe it to everybody to put it out. And then just generally, I think that we're in that position where now it's like, we're just dialed in. We know what we're making. And I think that that's maybe where a lot of other people don't have that. We're very format driven. Like we understand the types of things that we're making and why it's being made and why it's going to be successful, how it's being made, so that there isn't going to be an episode of People versus Food where all of a sudden we're just going to be like, we can't put that out. It's like, we know exactly what's going to be happening. Like it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be fun.
It's a very efficient process that you guys know already.
Yeah. Or even like the kids react that came out recently with the try not to yawn, and none of them yawned. Like even that is, you would go, oh man, that didn't work out. Oh, like we can't put that out online. Like everybody's going to be like, oh, nobody yawned, like all pissed off. It's like, no, that's still going to go out there. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's the raw reaction. Like that's the reaction.
But man, I No, so many other people do not feel that way. So many YouTubers, so many media companies, like they will make so many things and they will not release them.
The last couple of years working with people, they're like, this was one thing, like we can't do this. I'm just like, dude, it is part of the game. Part of like, it's going to, however it goes, just keep next thing. It's not
the perfect video. You hear about that all the time.
You literally, there's 100 hours of footage uploaded a minute. Like, don't worry, you'll get lost in there next.
Like, it's just one little content. It's one little video. Like, it doesn't really matter.
Recent releases, Raf. Speaking of try not tos.
Yeah, I think we were just going to highlight just the, it was a great brand deal that we got to do with Crunchyroll, which of course being a huge anime fan generally was just like, that was a nice dream, fun thing to be able to do of helping promote that platform. But then they really, they usually tend to only do things like have people do a watch along or do a shout out. And they were like, what would you guys want to do? And so that's where the Try Not to Eat episode
that's cool. Like
came from.
Flexibility to do what you want with that. That's really nice.
And it just wove itself so nicely into the try not to, but also like the original reacts of like watching sequence and being and eating and etc. But yeah, the team here just knocked that out of the park. Shout out to Katie, who was part of the producing team for that, and just came out so awesome. And we saw even in the sense of right now YouTube's going through one of those interesting algorithm recommendation engine resets where like everybody's views go down. We're starting to notice that happens once a year, it seems. And so everybody's complaining again like they were last year. And that episode definitely helped to kind of kick the React channel's content a little bit up again, because that's what we look for right now, is that just like a television network,
something new and fresh.
Yeah, you need something that pops. And that's where you've seen a lot of people have these problems where their channels start to go down and down and down during these resets that YouTube tends to have with the algorithm or changes. But FBE's content finds new people a lot. Like it's shareable, it's viral, it's relatable. So you end up finding new audience. But then we have some of these shows that are just so popular, even within the 5% of the whole audience, that it then helps new ideas when we put them out. Like when we put out something like TMI, the game show Too Much Information that we did with Star Wars, that kind of thing on its own channel randomly without having all this other content that people want to watch would only get like 1,000 views and we'd find some people. But because it's on this channel and it has all these other videos that get such high views, it sends it out to so many people to try to test that new piece of content out. But it's been interesting on YouTube generally.
Yeah,
past month or two.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I've been trying different stuff too myself, and it's like super cool to see like what works and what doesn't work, and and especially having parents at this age and like them looking at what work you do and like they're trying to be like, they're hoping for my success and whatever. I'm like, they're like, oh, that didn't do as well. Why didn't you do that or whatever? Like, why does this do good? And I'm like, there's like a lot of stuff on the back end that I like.
Yeah, there is.
Sometimes this might
it's not even your fault.
Yeah, it is what it is, and you just have to move on to the next thing.
What are your guys' channels? Shout them out.
Just my name, Labib on everything.
It'll be in the YouTube description.
Okay. Mine's Who is Chelsea. I don't know.
That's Chelsea.
That's it. I don't
That's
know.
it right here.
That's what you're going to find out if you come to my channel.
Guys, it's the part of the podcast where we have to pick a hashtag. This is the secret hashtag that people use to leave a comment and get a chance at a shout out for next week. I will say last week's was Baby Brainwash. All About's Neck wrote in they should be brainwashed to love Star Wars. And Naj Renchef said, my parents tried to pretend candy didn't exist. But then my grandparents weren't in on it, so I found out too early. So that was brainwashing that went poorly for Naj.
I think it should be hashtag robotic arms.
Right?
Robot arms.
Yeah,
robot arms. Isn't that, this is my second Futurama reference this episode. Isn't that the name of Bender's apartment? Like robot arms? Something?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway.
what I was going to ask you. Is that the kind of world you're hoping? Like, I found Futurama.
It's not about
robot
hoping.
arms.
It's like they're speaking just honestly. Like this is how I feel. It's just this isn't what I hope. It's just inevitable.
Can we?
That was deep.
We don't have this. We've gone back to this 3
We don't have a
times.
choice.
We don't.
Benny's.
Hashtag robot arms.
Okay. We don't want to keep talking about.
I think you've done more than enough, Rafi.
See, that'll be 3017 is when somebody's going to be making a podcast being like, this guy John said 2017 was the worst. And then we're going to be having like the robots who are coming in the studio shooting everybody. And you'd be like, no, 3017 was the worst. And then everybody's dead.
hashtag robot arms for a chance at a shout out next week when hopefully we'll all still be alive in here. Thank you guys so much. I'm so thankful that you guys decided to hang out with us after hours. These people don't have to come in, but they choose to. They come in and spend their time with us, and it's been fun kind of getting to know you more. I always say, like, it's always kind of super awkward for me because you guys that have been around for a while, like, we see each other like
John's
randomly.
John's the first hire of the company.
You
guys wouldn't really ever see him, but he's always was in the office every time you've ever come in.
And never had a conversation with. And it's just like, it's the way, like, in life works. And so it's really cool to get to know you guys better. And
the whole hour conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. And also, like, those are always the things. It's just so nice to get to actually spend a little time with you guys because you don't get to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's why, like, the number one reason I was hyped to do a podcast, I get to, like, sit down and talk.
I know. It's a whole different, like, thought of what life could be if things were more focused and it was just worrying about one thing. And my hope still is maybe it's another 10 years and then everything's kind of like, oh, sweet, like all this stuff is going on, but hey, we could go out to lunch sometime, we could actually like catch up again, we could have more React cast parties and we all can get together and hang out. But right now, who dog it? I can't do it.
So, right now it's time to work and stuff.
I also want to thank you guys for maintaining that kind of authenticity that I think is one of the big reasons why the shows continue to be successful, because I think in your position, if I'm putting myself in your shoes, which I do to a very, very small extent in the podcast, but not in any of the way that you guys do.
Exposing yourself to a large audience,
and actually sharing your opinions and sharing your views, especially when they're not popular, or something is super popular, but it just doesn't kind of connect or resonate with you. It takes enormous courage and strength and fortitude to still share that opinion, especially living in 2007, knowing that response is out there. But I think you guys know that even your opinions in those moments do represent another audience that their voice isn't getting heard. If everybody just agrees and everybody just likes something, then, you know what I mean? There's a whole percentage of the viewers of the population, the people stumbling upon that are not represented. And so when you guys have that kind of courage to, and share how you honestly, truly feel in these moments when it could be so easy to just like kind of toe the line and just say whatever you think is most friendly or most crowd pleasing or most popular, like you guys still find that voice and you trust yourself to share those things. And man, is it amazing to see and watch, because it's so different to go the other way.
And now we're just like still watching The Walking Dead. I mean, come on, no.
You know what?
We're saying that you've never watched The Walking Dead. That's being honest.
I don't even watch most TV. I pick Top Gear, which is like a canceled show already.
To be honest, I don't care because I focus all my time on like literally 2 fandoms that I'm just like, what else is the world?
Wait,
you guys
is it just Fall Out Boy and Walking Dead, or what's the other fandom?
I guess like Stranger Things and maybe Breaking Bad.
Okay.
But I mean, other than that, when you guys are talking about like electropop and K-pop, I'm just like, what?
Hey, this is some genre. Electropop is a subgenre.
What's it called?
It's one of my favorite genres. No,
EDM,
I mean
EDM. I know, and like BTS. I thought you meant behind the scenes.
Me too. For the longest time, I thought BTS was behind the scenes too.
You don't understand. Like we have the vlogs. I don't know if you guys have seen the vlogs coming out on FBE too.
I'll watch them.
But like so many of those times, I want to use the word BTS either in the title or the tags, because I'm trying to describe something quickly.
The K-pop
with an acronym.
Fan, they are like, don't utilize our name.
You only have so many characters, though.
You only
have so many characters.
Don't use that SEO.
And I want to put BTS so bad.
They don't like that. You got to be careful.
I just know the comments that are coming, and I'm so sorry because I'm probably.
It's like you see all the music videos, MV like, oh, FBE vlog out of nowhere, right? In between all these
videos, like what?
They're talking about us.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. Hopefully, I know we weren't able to answer everybody's question, but wait, we did. We almost.
I was like, are we not shouting out? What happened?
I thought that was it.
Let's get this engagement up.
Can we actually like shout them out?
Well,
you want to yell them?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
It depends what. Just apologize to Sean beforehand because he's the editor.
Can you keep passing them along?
Oh, my bad. I thought it was just like.
We all get a paper?
I thought it was like a list of everyone.
So we're just gonna keep going around in a circle.
It's okay. You don't have to say them well.
We're gonna
just go quick.
Yeah, from the top to the bottom, and then we'll just keep going.
Oh dear Lord!
Shout out this week to Burger Beast.
Shout out to this week from Ayushri from Nepal.
Shout out to.
Don't have to say shout out.
There's gonna be a lot of shout outs.
Wait, my turn?
Adam,
Okay.
yeah.
Adam Bender.
Adrian X.
Alyssa Lockman.
Arcane Sensen.
Assembled.
Wait.
Just keep going.
Oh, sorry. I'm like so
Chelsea's waiting.
Ben the Random Fan.
Assembled Bernice Chu.
Billy.
Blinker 76.
Ryan Falk.
Candice Chu.
Che Huang Wan.
Chang Hope.
Christian Paz.
Destiny Dimension.
Emmanuel R.
Farhan Anitu.
Grant Butler.
2:30.
Immortal Pablo.
Isaiah Meha.
Cameron K.
Kaylee Shepard.
Hendrik Harris.
Kevin Estrada.
Kiki Reynolds.
Kyle, I don't know.
Lane Art.
Michael Edward McPhee.
Na Renshelf.
Narek Arkoyan.
Nawfal Hakimi.
Pam Jala.
Sam Sharp.
Senchit Agarwal.
That's pretty good.
Sasha Edward.
Simon James.
Stephanie Grace.
Killer Gerard.
Talia Perez.
Unicorn_Haley_2008.
Unknown Thief.
And we have at least one badass member of the 5% listening to the podcast in each of these countries. If you hear your country or don't hear your country, leave a comment on the YouTube video saying I'm listening from for a shout out next week. Shout outs to Argentina,
Australia.
Belgium.
Canada.
Czech Republic,
Denmark.
Estonia.
Estonia.
Estonia, sorry.
Germany. She has her fandoms. She doesn't
I
know.
don't know.
Geography is not one of her fandoms. India.
Indonesia.
Maldives.
Nepal.
Or Maldives.
Maldives.
Netherlands.
Philippines.
Poland.
Spain.
Sweden.
And the US of A, baby.
Utah, Michigan, California, Idaho, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Arizona. Thank you guys so much for listening this week. Hopefully
Thank
you've
you.
enjoyed it.
Thank
The
you.
best states in the US.
We're sorry if we didn't get to your question. I'll get back to my wrap up now. Use the hashtag FBE Podcast in the YouTube description below or on Twitter so that we can find your question for next week. We want to hear from you. What do you guys want to know about? What do you want us to talk about? We're here to hang out with the 5%, and we're loving every minute of it. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
to
Thank you
Labib
guys
and
so
Chelsea.
much.
It was fun.
It was a lot
Thank
of
you
fun.
guys. Yeah.
And we'll see you next week. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.